Okay, 9:26 p.m. 8/11/2017. This is part 2 where I left off on this one here. Okay. Where when the people at the commune decide they'd had enough, of the grind or the crap, they end up wandering off. All that work they put in, all their wealth, if they had any to speak of to begin with, possessions, it's just blown. It's gone. Because he buys more land. We've been that particular commune's watcher, or some of its watchers, for over 20 years. And when we first heard anything about it, as I'd mentioned before, there were like 200 plus acres. Well, now their website, where I had it open today anyway, they've got 1,200 plus acres. So you see, they keep adding to that. But when the people wander off, they don't get any of that. Do you think they go, oh, okay, here's our big pie graph of, our accumulated wealth, and you get your little slice of pie back because you put a slice of pie in? No, it doesn't explain that on the website. But I don't imagine that's how they would do it. Because you see, they take those things, those tangible things, whether it's some money that's already accessible, or it's the possessions which they can sell and have the money from. They buy stuff from that, like the land, like equipment, like supplies, like whatever else. Pay the land taxes, blah, blah. Keep the truck. Well, they did have a truck. I don't know now, but. And it said they have, or had, only 2 drivers and 2 people who did all the spending. So, okay, you can imagine kind of my shock and horror. The boy, as I stated, he wasn't as bad. But, boys are what they are. Tough as nail kind of things. But the girl, even though she tried to keep on a tough exterior, not to crumble in front of anyone, is how I see it, looked the part at the time, with the soiled looking clothing and the gumboots with a big hole in the toe, or where it had been torn or whatever, torn out of there. Hair a mess, sweat streaks on the face, dirty face, Just look the part. Look so much the part, now that I think about it. If she had left our house to go and make her report, that's the kind of person I would have expected to read in that notes later, that she looked the part. So I didn't say anything like the first little while. But then, of course, school was going to be starting. And she was going to be going to church with my parents. And she couldn't let her appearance look like she'd been rolling with the pigs, okay? Just can't do that. So, got her an appointment, got her hair clipped up so it wasn't so matted and hard to deal with. Got her nice shoulder length cut. Didn't want to cut it all off or anything, of course, but something that she wouldn't have to stress with every morning to start school. You know, she probably had all these kids around her up there that they would do each other's hair, you know, and it was no big deal. But at our house, she didn't have all those, you know, people around to help her with the hair and get the hair delis in and all this. So I figured, let's just get it cut. All right, it won't take her but a couple minutes every day to straighten that hair out and go to school. All right, so I decided, well, why don't we take it a step further? Let's get her ears pierced so she can look cute and wear earrings. Because I knew from experience many years ago that that's what that age kid does. You know, they want to primp. They want to put the earrings on and the little makeup. So we got her some makeup. Not a lot, some blush. I know was one of them. I believe there was some lipstick or lip gloss. Probably lip gloss, knowing me back then. Thinking, well, she doesn't need a heavy-duty lipstick. That's for older people. Get her a gloss. Alright, and they sell those fruit-flavored, glossy, gloppy things, you know. So, it might have even been a roll-on, but I don't remember. So, that, and the little compact with the blush in it. And then some high heels to wear with dresses. And just a few other things that she could mix and match with jeans, of course, or even wear a skirt with a couple of them if she chose to. It wasn't a lot. I mean, it was to supplement what my mother got out for her in the way of jeans that she thought would fit her. And it wasn't those big jeans she arrived with that obviously had at one time belonged to someone much larger than her, that were held into a smaller, better fitting size with like several pins. I believe there were 7 safety pins holding those pants to more like fit. Which to me was like one of the most criminal things I'd ever seen in my life. How do they let their kid go running around like this? I wasn't allowed to go running around like that. Okay? My mom would have, instead of saying, here's another safety pin, she would have said, you better sit down there with this needle and thread and get those sewn up to where they look decent. But obviously my mom is some kind of backwards weirdo, you know. In that regard, we had a backwards mother. She liked things done properly. So to other people, that's just all wrong, you know. That's backwards to them. So Mom dug around. Mom was ferocious about keeping clothes, and found some jeans and stuff that really hadn't changed style as far as style went. Just jeans and stuff that would still be okay even all that much time later, you know, so she wouldn't end up wearing safety pins to school. That can be a problem. People see that as an opportunity to start cutting someone down. Oh, your mother can't fix those? You can't get those altered? What's it cost around here to get something altered to fit? A few bucks? Come off it, okay? the mother gave so much of her wealth, income, possessions away. And then I'm the one who supposedly was to blame. Well, it's all their fault. In Sedalia, look how they're living. They have a house in town. They have a truck. They've got cable. They've got food. And look at us. We don't look like that. We don't have a life like that. But see, she's the one that got them the life like that. Her mother did not want her to take her grandkids out there and live on a farm with the hogs, okay? She did that in defiance, I'm sure. Okay, so back to me being said to be out running around all the time. Like I'd said in the previous video, which this is part 2 of, 60 other people at one time, in her words, were sort of like, Veronica's just out there running around with her girlfriends all the time. She's over at her friend's house. Okay? I kind of had another angle to that. Like, well, if I place Veronica out there somewhere, anywhere but here, okay, that would justify this commune bunch of people swarming her. Because, well, you're out there, things happen out there. But if you're in here and you're safe, and John Myers can keep them knocked off of you, it's not the same thing, do you see? There's got to be a test or a trap. There should have been one considered back then, but there wasn't. There'd been other reasons discussed before, so I won't go into that right now. But see, her mother had all these girlfriends, and John had intercepted a call with them once. He told me this way before we even got married, that they were plotting on him for her to get pregnant with the second child, which he had already told her point blank, I do not need this, we do not need this, I'm already working 2 jobs, it's going to be too stressful, I can't do it, we're not going to make it. So she waits until he's passed out, you know, in between jobs, I guess, because he had 2 of them, and gets pregnant anyway, without his permission, without his consent. Now, how nice of a woman is that? Do you see now what I mean, the way they have done him? And I kind of got the impression, too, and mentioned it, I think, in the previous video. They may have been plotting, actually, since she was successful at getting pregnant, maybe they wanted pregnant, too. Or maybe they just wanted to have a little bit of fun with him. Well, come on over when he's asleep. I'll show you to him. Or I'll show him to you. And we'll take it from there. And we'll all be smiling and happy. This'll be fun. And then the daughter comes along. And she told me some things her mother had told her. Or at least she said her mother had told her. Excuse me. And one of those things was that her mother had told her that she needed to put a wedge between him and I. I did mention, and it wasn't going to work. So, thanks for